Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the first episode of the Supernatural season finale, Who We Are. And I really enjoyed this episode. I'm kind of glad that they did it this way, because this one focused on the resolution of the whole British Men of Letters thing, and kind of bringing it to a head to see what it means for our characters. So, it starts off, and we see this guy lying kind of like clawed up on a truck, and then it's cut in between with someone washing kind of like clawed brass knuckles and washing the blood off. And we find out that it is Mary Winchester. It was another hunter she'd killed. She gets into a car then, and she gets text for her more targets, and Jody's on the list, so she goes off there. Then we get more focused on what's going on at the bunker, and they're trying to figure out what's going on to, like, get out. And Lady Bevel explains that there is a manual override. It is outside of the bunker, though. So let's kind of get to it. And Dean's, of course, like for capping her ass. But she pulls the card that I programmed your mother, I can unprogram her, so you better keep me alive. So they're like, alright, let's get to the research. So they're getting through it, and Sam is able to find one that can like reset machinery and everything. But the only problem is it requires the blood of a virgin. So it was funny because Dean looks at Lady Bevel and she's like, no, not been that in a while. I was like, okay. So Sam comes up with the idea to try and purify their blood, and Dean's like, you want to re-virginize it? Yeah, we can do a purification ritual on our blood, see if that works, and then test it out that way. So they go through it, they get all blood from all three of them, they do the purification, it does its thing to the blood, and they attempt to do the ritual to reset everything within the bunker. But it doesn't completely work. It's like, crap! Almost there. So Dean's like, alright, here we go. You tried brains, and we're seeing as it's going out through, we had day one, now they're into day two, and he's like, alright, let's try and brawn our way out. Alright, all the walls are pretty much reinforced steel with the garage and all that, except for here. This is concrete. So, we bust through, there's a sewer pipe, we go outside, flick the switch, we're good. We're gonna Shawshank this bitch. And they get to it, and they're like hammering away with pickaxes and everything, and it's not working. It's taking too long, they're exerting themselves too much, and the air is getting thinner, and they're just like talking about what's going on. Sam being like, did you think we'd go out this way? He's like, no, I thought we'd go out Butch and Sundance style, Blaze of Glory. And Sam's lamenting the fact that he had bought into the company line of like everything with the British Men of Letters because it was easier to follow instead of lead. And we kind of get this change in Sam's demeanor in that it seems that he's realized that he's usually been following people more often than leading people when it's pretty much the only course of action. Because he's usually the one that kind of just stays in the back. I mean, usually they like both come up with like whatever they're trying to do for an idea for a plan, but he's never been one to like be the leader and kind of like be like, okay, we need to form together as a group and kind of do this. He's realizing that, though, granted, we have seen him step up to occasions. We've never seen him be like the team leader and be like, this is what we have to do. This is the organization we have to do to achieve our goals. He's like, oh, these people have this whole thing set up. That'll be cool. They'll do all this stuff. We'll just help go through and take out all the monsters. It'll be perfect. And seeing him kind of come to that realization is pretty cool. And kind of seeing him form more of an identity outside of the brotherly bond. Because usually the core of it is Sam and Dean as brothers. But I think a good thing that we've seen throughout this episode, even at the end, is that they're trying to differentiate themselves and be like, okay, we can be brothers, but we also need to be our own people. So, they're talking about the Blaze of Glory, and that gives Dean the great idea to use the grenade launcher. It's like, finally we get to use it! And he's like, I'm doing it. Bevel's calling him both lunatics and everything, and he's like, nope, I finally get to use it, waiting for the perfect moment. He's like, yippee-ki-yay, mother, and then boom, shoots it off. I'm like, yeah, John McClane style. There we go. So we get the fallout from that. We see Sam look in. There's a hole in everything, but we don't see Dean at all. Then some debris goes into the hole, and it's like, crap. Sam's pretty much gasping and everything. And then we see the bunker comes back on, and Dean limps in because his leg's screwed up. He's like, yeah, got this. Alright. to figure out what's going on. So they pretty much handcuff Lady Bevel into the Impala as they're trying to find cell phones at work and figure out what's going on. Dean's able to get a hold of Garth, tell him and Bess to get safe and all that. And of course, Sam's able to figure out Jody because while they were in there, Mary went to Jody's and that's kind of where we left off. It's like, oh crap, what happened? So they get in and they find that Jody and Alex have tied up Mary and she's like, at first I thought she was possessed by a demon. Luckily, Alex was able to cause a distraction enough for me to take her out. And so everything's okay with that, but she's still in her programmed state. And Lady Bevel's like, I don't know if it's permanent. And Dean's kind of pissed off and oh, we can pretty much take you out right now. And that's where Sam kind of gets into the effect of trying to get hunters and everything, because we know that the British Men of Letters are trying to go after all the hunters now, and they're stepping up their game because we see as this is going on, Dr. Hess and everybody's pretty much saying they've moved to phase 2. So you kill family, bystanders, you leave no witnesses, you go for a completely scorched earth kind of effect. It's like, holy shit. So while Hess is giving that information to their battle units, Ketch is trying to figure out where Mary is because as they're talking about what to do with her, her phone's ringing off the hook. And he's like, okay, can you figure out where she's at? And of course, Paige tells her that she's in Lebanon, Kansas, because at that point in the episode, Dean and Lady Bevel and Mary have gone back to the bunker to try to deprogram her because Dean's like, you're going to help me no matter what. And she's like, well, usually I'd have the rig at the British Men of Letters, but we can cobble something together. And she's pretty much trying to extend her life and everything because one wrong move and Dean has no problem just taking her out. So before that happens, we get everybody kind of all the rest of the hunters that aren't really big name hunters, and Sam kind of gives a speech about what's going on and how he has called them there. And seeing Dean kind of watch him become the Sam that he knows he is and just be the kind of leader for the hunters and kind of solidifying, at least in this respect, someone to lead these hunters in a battle is pretty cool because he's I'm the brother, I'm the dad, and all that kind of seeing him be him. That's pretty cool. So he's talking about how he allied himself with the British Men of Letters because they promised a world without monsters, but they think that the ends justify the means and all they want is control. And we know better. We know what our guts, what to do. We can make the hard choices and save people. That's what it's about, saving people. So I need you guys to help me pretty much take them out. And it was kind of cool. Everybody kind of nodded and went along with it. We got a cool part where Dean's like, I'm going to stay back and try and help Mom. He's like, all right, that's cool. And he's like, you got this. It was cool seeing you do it. Go and do it. Kick their asses, give them hell. And Sam was trying to get him. He's like, well, I'd take one jacked up Dean Winchester over 10 other hunters any day. He's like, no, I'm going to try and save Mom. So there's something still in there. So that's where they kind of split off and they got their moment of Dean calling him a bitch and Sam calling him a jerk, and it was cool seeing Jody have her moment with Alex, and they just go off. And this is where it kind of divulges a little bit. So we get some time with the bunker, but it's more kind of focused on going through and doing more stuff with the British Men of Letters. So Lady Bevel is able to pretty much rig up a way for them to get on the same wavelength brain-wise, and then pretty much hypnotics and sedatives to get them both under. So Dean is able to go into Mary's head and see the kind of psychic prison or kind of safe room that has been constructed for her. He sees Sam as a baby. She sees Mary kind of working with a little Dean, giving him cut off the crust, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, pie and everything, and saying that she's going to protect them from everything bad and all that. And Dean is not able to shake her out of it, but once he gets to that point, he's like, I hate you. And we start to see Mary kind of hearing it, because at this point, up until this point, she really hasn't shown him any reaction that she knows that he's there. And he goes into this spiel about all the stuff that she's done, the deal with Azazel to save Dad's life. You know what happened with that? He came to Sam's room. We lost you. And in effect, we lost Dad as well. I had to become a dad and a mom to Sam, and I shouldn't have been forced to do that. It was crap. I didn't deserve that. and all the stuff that's happened to Sam, losing the girl that he loves, being a vessel for Lucifer, losing his soul. I hate you for that, and I love you too. It's like, we can get past this. If we get back into the real world, we can start again. And it's like really kind of cool and powerful to see him doing that with his mom, because we get flashes of back into the real world, seeing her crying, and then we see Dean crying, talking about this, and he's able to finally get her to see him, and he's like, Mom? And she's like, Dean? And then he gets pulled, and we see Ketch has gotten in there, slashed Lady Bevel's throat. We see this brawl between Dean and Ketch, and of course Dean is not in his top form. One, he's drowsy from the sedatives and hypnotics, and two, his legs busted up to hell. So we get a good fight scene because, granted, Dean is at a disadvantage, but Ketch, he still fucks up Ketch a good amount too, like slamming him into tables and taking him out with a table leg, and he's like, then, towards the end of the fight, he pulls out a gun, he's like, you thought I would fight fair with this? And he's about to shoot Dean, and we hear another gunshot, we see that Mary shot him in the shoulder, and he's like, I was right, you're both killers. He's like, yep, you're right. And then Mary just caps him in the head. He's like, yes, I'm glad Mary was the one to take Ketch out. And that's kind of where we get at the end of the bunker scenario with like Dean and Mary at that point. Then we will eventually get back to like the intersection of everything that happens after Sam's assault. So we get a pretty cool action sequence of the hunters assaulting the British men of letters. Now, we get to see the differences, like the British men of letters being tactical, but also the tacticalness of like the hunters going in, because they have their kind of like beat up kind of powerhouse vehicles drive in, kind of take out guards and everything, and just systematically trying to figure out how to get through. Sam using a smoke grenade for cover, and it's pretty much evened out. They take out more British men of letters than hunters, but we still lose some people, but not any important hunters. I wish that there had been more kind of work that way, because we could have used Claire or Garth, but granted, I'm glad that didn't happen, because I was even afraid for Jodie, because they lose so much of their supporting cast, and it's like, oh my god, I can't deal with that. But they were able to pretty much take out most of the people at the British Men of Letters, and Dr. Hess took out one dude kind of cool, like kicking away a gun and like breaking his neck, but kind of locked herself in a panic room, and was on the horn with the people on the other side of the Atlantic, being like, I need an extraction spell or something. Like, we don't have the resources at this time. It's like, we kind of need to, and then the door gets blown in, and she pretty much tries to beg for her life, being like, well, you're going to need us. Don't take us out to this moment. See, Lucifer's on the prowl, and he like looks through the file and sees Lucifer stuff, and the dude says, I wouldn't pass this up, son, and Sam's like, pass, shoots the computer to turn off the one dude, and then Hess tries to go for her gun, and Jodie pops her in the head. It's like, yeah, there we go. It's pretty sweet. So that's kind of where we're ended that, and they did a kind of cheesy CGI explosion, but it happens. I mean, it's still better than most of the things that has been going on. I'm glad that they got the budget for this stuff, but I think it would have just been better to not include it, because it didn't really add anything, because they just left the compound and blew up everything that was going on. There probably would have been more effective uses for what was going on, like putting that budget towards more like what's going on with Lucifer's son and all that. That's my only real quibble with it, but it was really effective in showing how the hunters were able to battle the British Men of Letters, even though they had superior gear, tech, all that kind of stuff, and they're just able to go in and get shit done. So that's when it kind of like veers back into going up with Dean and Mary, and we get back to the bunker and we see Dean talking to Mary, and she's like, I kind of distanced myself from you guys because I didn't know how to deal with the situation and everything. And Dean's like, listen, everything you did has made us the people we are today. We've kicked ass. We've saved the world. We wouldn't be who we are today without the decisions that have been made. And of course they're like, good and all that, but she's like, I'm afraid that Sam won't forgive me. That's when Sam comes in and she's like, you don't have to worry about me for anything. So then they get a pretty cool group hug, and it's like, alright, I'm really interested to see where this is going to go, and seeing Mary kind of learn more and kind of be more accepted and be in with the whole Winchester thing, and how that changes the dynamics, seeing her be the mom to these two boys. And I thought that's what was going to be happening through most of the season, But I think that this was also an effective way to get to that point, so that way we can use it later on in like the next season or however far they're going to take Mary Winchester's role in this. So that's where it ends off, and of course the next episode will pick up and dealing with the whole stuff with Lucifer's son and all that. But I really thought this was an effective way to tie up the stuff going on with Mary Winchester and the British Men of Letters, and I can't wait to see what fallout this is going to have, like in the next episode, if Mary's going to be involved, and also next season. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.